Hello and welcome to a 1v1 cast on Ashes of Typhon. Before starting this cast, I just want to mention the upcoming monthly Rumble tournament that is on the 1st of May at 1700 UTC or 5 PM in the afternoon UTC. It's a 1v1 single elimination tournament. You can find the details in the description. If you enjoy 1v1s, then be sure to sign up. And if you're not wanting to play, you can always watch it on stream or watch it on YouTube the day after it happens. But now moving on to the actual cast itself, starting off we have a DesertNomad playing as the Thousand Suns Chaos Sorcerer, and on the other side of the map we have Destoffel playing as a pinkish or purplish Hive Tyrant. The map is quite a large map, Ashes of Typhon. I believe it's called Ashes of Typhon. I hope I'm not getting confused with a different map, but it's quite a large map, and for me personally I do prefer smaller maps, but can be quite annoying, especially with the Hive Tyrant able to put down Brood Nest, able to stay on the field for essentially longer than other Tyranid commanders. With that Brood Nest in certain areas of the map, you can always try and hide it or try and put it further back from your army, try and protect it and stay on the field and try and poke down the Chaos units. But some Spore Mines are going to come out. It's going to make it very difficult for these double heretics to do too much in the early game, but the Spore Mines are going to be meeting some CSM mid. If the Spore Mines get too close to your CSM, you should always try and melee down the Spore Mines, since the suppression from it will prevent you from using your range attack, so you might as well try and melee down the Spore Mines. Since you're unable to use your range attack anyway, you might as well get in some melee hits and try and end or try and kill as many Spore Mine models as quickly as possible. But already these double heretics here, Termagant's going to be picking a very poor engagement there. Going to be a Termagant lost to actually start the game off. Homagant's going to come in for a flank against the CSM, but already killing the Spore Mines without the Spore Mines doing anything whatsoever, and killing some Termagants here. DesertNomad coming off to a strong start here. At the same time, some Termagant's going to be on that left hand side capping these double heretics, trying to do what they can, but these double heretics are definitely going to get forced off here by the Homagants and Hive Tyrant as they come in. These double heretics will not be able to stand up against them. Hive Tyrant will not be able to land specials against these heretics, given that they have a 75 melee skill, but the Hive Tyrant will still be able to pick off quite a few models if he's left alone in melee combat against them. The heretics still going to be engaging these Homagants here. Homagants getting Doom Blasted there by the heretics, getting suppressed there. Doom Blast, a lot of players tend not to use the Doom Blast anymore with the recent changes to the Doom Blast, given that it only does 15 damage rather than 25 damage. Quite a big chunk of damage has been taken away from them, and you see a lot of players opting to just leave them without Doom Blasting whatsoever, just so they last in the fight a little bit longer. But Termagant's in mid here, going to get suppressed, choosing the wrong path. Some Doom Bolts going to force them off here. If they decide to try and tank that, they would have taken a lot of damage given those Doom Bolts, and given how closely the models were together, given that the Doom Bolts are very effective against, well, group type units such as that. But Havoc's going to be set some even further forward here, but Destoffel in control of the majority of the map right now. So many Tyranid units just spread around the map, getting a lot of map control. The Termagants have been replaced that were lost earlier as well. And DesertNomad forced to group together a lot and forced to group up as much as possible in order to prevent him from losing any kind of engagements whatsoever. CSM on this left hand side will need to be careful if the Hive Tyrant makes his way down there. There's also some Homagants over here being very annoying. Havocs are going to go and set them up or set them straight. Heretics also on their way as well. These Homagants will need to be careful not to get caught out in their retreat path here. Double heretics along with the Chaos Sorcerer can definitely do quite a bit of damage. Decides to retreat away now. The heretics are trying to come in but unable to actually do too much as they are a little bit too late there. Chaos Sorcerer is also on the retreat path, but the Chaos Sorcerer alone will not be able to do too much himself. Raven is going to be burrowing here, but burrowing past the CSM as the CSM trying to force melee against these Termagants. I don't know if these CSM have actually noticed those Raveners before engaging. Heretics and the Chaos Sorcerer on the way. Heretics are capping that left hand side. Noise Marines coming out of base as well for DesertNomad at the same time. Raveners still with their default weapon, their power melee, very effective against heavy infantry. Even when they upgrade to the Devourers, which gives them a ranged weapon, they still do the same amount of damage to heavy infantry as they would with their power melee weapons, since they do actually have extra melee damage. And some very nice Doom Bolts there. Going to force that Termagant squad away. Raveners able to actually tank that since there's only 3 models there. And since they're infantry and not heavy infantry, they don't take bonus damage from those Doom Bolts. But the Hive Tyrant being very annoying. On this left hand side actually gets a decap onto the VP here. Havoc's forced to set up. Well, Havoc's actually pushing further forward here. Ravener's Burrow is on cooldown. Raveners are not noticing that Noise Marines and Havoc's are setting up here. As soon as this worship ends, it's going to really hurt Destoffel here. Going to actually force them to retreat away, and the Ravener model does get picked away here. The Hive Tyrant deciding to actually actually back away here. Hive Tyrant could have potentially gone in for those Havocs there if he wanted, but he is still alone, still has no support. Noise Marine is going to be pushing in for a power bash. 387 VPs to 476 Destoffel ahead in VPs, about to have his power wiped if he is not careful here. Havocs need to set up. Noise Marines need to attack. They're just sitting here idle for now for some reason. Hive Tyrant is coming in from behind as well. Havoc's going to be setting up in such a way that it's going to defend against the Hive Tyrant, but the problem is that the Ravenous can easily just walk up to these Havocs without the need to actually burrow some extremely nice Doom Balls. Look at the damage onto these double Termagants, onto these Homagants as well. Ravenous going to be burrowing in, but the Aspiring Champion Heretics and Noise Marine is going to turn around and try and defend. Ravenous going to get forced off here. Sorcerer trying to do what he can to the Homagants here. Ravenous forced away as well, but that Hive Tyrant going to be very annoying here. The Havocs really need to be set up in order to try and do anything about that Hive Tyrant, but the Noise Marine is going to continue to bash away, and it's going to force the Hive Tyrant to focus them down, giving it time for the Havocs to actually set up, landing a special there against these Heretics as well. But, Noise Marines are going to be left to do what they want to this generator farm now that the Havocs have been forced away here. Noise Marines will get forced away. 2 generators have already been taken down. A third one is about to go down as well, potentially, and the third one will go down. Hive Tyrant going to land a special deb and not knocking over those Noise Marines because they are able to retreat away, and Destoffel losing all 3 generators has replaced 2 of them so far. CSM going to get that natural VP back. 363 VPs to 465 here. Both players still tier 1, both players close to tier 2 though. DesertNomad nearly on enough power to take up to tier 2, just needs another 100 requisition. Destoffel needing another 30 power himself and another 100 requisition to take up CSM. Going to come over to this right hand side, going to stop this Hive Tyrant from getting the capture onto the VP, or the Hive Tyrant looks like he will tank that before retreating away, getting the neutralize onto the VP there. Meanwhile, in mid, Homagant's going to bash down that power node Termagants onto this left-hand side. Neither Termagant, actually, this one Termagant squad does have the Toxin Sacs upgrade, but the second one, the one that was a replacement to the first squad that was lost, does not have it yet. The Toxin Sacs does increase the damage of the Termagant squad, so it is worth getting, if not for the ability itself. The Homagant's going to get forced away here. Another big push here in mid for DesertNomad. Ravenous going to be burrowing here, going to go after those CSM. Still with their default power melee weapons, very effective against heavy infantry, but without any ranged attack whatsoever. It makes it very difficult to fight when there are double Heretics on the field with a Chaos Sorcerer in the area. Havoc's going to be setting up the Ravenous without any burrow whatsoever. Destoffel will need to rely on his Hive Tyrant to interrupt those Havocs now. Noise Marine's going to try once again to tear down that Jury's farm, but Havoc's not set up here. The Havoc's needs to really set up before the Hive Tyrant comes in, but it might be a little bit too late. Heretic's going to be landing a special there against those Homagants. Doombolt's going to be quite nice here, going to catch out some of the models at the back. Noise Marine's getting tied up there by the Hive Tyrant. Havoc's now free to set up, free to fire away. Noise Marines needs to pull back slightly, and Termagant's even coming in for a flank as well against these Havoc's. Heretics needs to be on a retreat path. Heretics also needs to be careful not to get a bit too close there. Sorcerer also needs to back away himself as well. Termagant's going to get forced off as the CSM are going to force him off. Heretics going to be engaging Ravenous here, going to be losing their model. Could lose a second one here. Noise Marine's free to just bash the power as they see fit right now. Destoffel opting for a tier 2. DesertNomad taking was tier 2. He was a little bit late to tier 2, given that he didn't actually have the requisition, so we could see a very early Dreadnought from him. Marker-Corn Dreadnoughts are extremely effective as a Chaos Sorcerer because you can just send them into combat alone, turn them into Blood Rage mode, and then warp them out if they get a bit too low with the Chaos Sorcerer's Warp Global ability. So I think that's most likely going to see that in tier 2. And the Hive Tyrant goes to these Noise Marines though. The Cacophony comes in just in time there to actually protect them. Ravenous were almost going to finish them off along with that Hive Tyrant, but names to actually do so in the end. Sorcerer going to be forcing melee onto these Ravenous here, and I'm surprised the Sorcerer hasn't got the Sword of Flame weapon upgrade here. The Sword of Flame is extremely effective against Tyranids. But might be waiting to tier 2, might try and get the Rod of Warp Fire, but I think some upgrades in the Sorcerer come tier 2 at the very least need to start coming in. The Curse of Tzeentch or the Icon of Tzeentch, which gives the Curse of Tzeentch ability, could come in quite handy. And now that the Warriors have been called down here for Destoffel, DesertNomad should know now that Destoffel is tier 2 himself. Dreadnought is also going to be the first purchase here for DesertNomad, and I still think that some upgrades for the Chaos Sorcerer are due now fairly soon after this Marker-Corn Dreadnought gets upgraded himself as well. It does actually have 67 power right now, so does have some of his power spare to actually upgrade his Sorcerer and also get the Marker-Corn upgrade since it is only 30 power. But even the power is actually decapped here for Destoffel. He is going to have quite a power deficit right now. But we'll probably try and get a Tyrant Guard out himself. Needs more requisition if he wants to get a Tyrant Guard out. Does actually have the power for it. But at the same time, also wanting some upgrades for his Hive Tyrant. I would imagine either a Venom Cannon or a Crushing Claw to actually fight the oncoming Marker Khorne Chaos Dreadnought. Now it's coming out the base of Desert Nomad right now. And also probably wanting some extra resources as well to actually upgrade to the Adrenal Glands onto the Warriors. That's probably going to be the next purchase, following up this Tyrant Guard, and then that following up the Adrenal Glands onto the Warriors. Probably some upgrades for the Hive Tyrant in the end. Given that Warriors are heavy infantry, they do take bonus damage from Doom Bolts, so they will need to be a little bit careful of that. And the Adrenal upgrades does actually give them extra health as well, allowing them to remain in the fight for a little bit longer. Even the Doom Blast as well, which actually does plasma damage, is more effective against heavy infantry compared to regular infantry. I believe it does do plasma damage. And in mid, coming in are some double Termagants, double Termagants, one set of Hummergants, one set of Termagants, and one set of Raveners, but they should actually regroup with the Hive Tyrant, wait for the Warriors to come back out of base, wait for the Tyrant Guard here, and then try and defend the natural power once again. But another source of AV is needed here for Destoffel, since the Tyrant Guard is not going to be enough, and the Adrenal Glands on the Warriors are definitely not going to be enough to actually fight this Marker Khorne Dreadnought, especially when it turns into Blood Rage mode. Okay, Sorcerer finally gained some upgrades, now going to go for the Chains of Torment here. Very nice upgrade to actually lock down the Hive Tyrant, prevent him from going in any further. So now that the Chains of Torment has been seen, most likely could be a Venom Cannon upgrade for Destoffel and his Hive Tyrant. In fact, the Venom Cannon is going in right now. He doesn't even know that he's got the Chains of Torment yet. Oh, he actually does, since the requisition does give it vision. But Venom Cannon is the safer choice here, given that the Sorcerer is very good at controlling units. These Heretics, though, need to be extremely careful. These Heretics are going to go in Doom Bolt or Doom Blast and then run away here. Very fortunate they didn't get that far in the end, but the Venom Cannon is now spotted. The Marker Khorne Dreadnought is coming in. Mark of Zinch CSM going to be extremely effective against the Warriors. Need to start focusing now, get some Synapse Bombs off so they can start damaging units, and here comes the Khorne Dreadnought. Heretics coming in. Those are going to be some dead Warriors if they're not careful. That Chaos Sorcerer, though, is going to get picked apart there by that Tyrant Guard. The Khorne Dreadnought going to start working its way down to that Tyrant Guard, even landing a special there. Well, I don't know why that calls out the Hive Tyrant. Dark Flames here on retreats as well, going to end the life of those Warriors as well. Those Marines falling back to base here. Looks like some units went in a little bit too far here. A squad of Termagants has also gone down, but I'm not sure where. And now the Dreadnought is free to do what it wants. The Sorcerer is currently dead though, but once the Sorcerer gets repurchased, you can warp the Chaos Dreadnought everywhere. You can still use the Warp Global even when the Dreadnought, or even when the Sorcerer is dead, sorry. But the problem is I always warp it to the Sorcerer's corpse, and that's not always going to be in an ideal location. You can't move the Sorcerer's corpse, but Blood Rage is activated once again. The Dreadnought is going in a little bit aggressive here. It will need to get warped out fairly soon. Do need to be careful here, especially given that the Sorcerer's body is fairly close. And in fact, there are some units that might potentially spot if it's warped out a little bit too late here. And Desert Nomad going to be going tier 3 here. This is Dreadnought is trying to kill what it can. Sorcerer has been repurchased. Dreadnought does get warped back into base rather than on the corpse here. If it was warped in onto the corpse of the Sorcerer, Tyrant Guard and Venom Cannon, Hive Tyrant may have been able to chase it down. But Dreadnought going to be out of commission there for a little while, going to get repaired up by some Heretics in base here. Raveners still without their Devourer upgrade here. Quite surprised actually. Normally see players rushing for that Devourer upgrade, and some Engineering is going to get placed down on the not as natural power farm here of Destoffel. Tyrant Guard though on that left hand side going to be taking down a Havoc model. Havoc's deciding to keep that heavy bolter. Might be time to switch up to an Auto Cannon though. Given that the Hive Tyrant has got the Venom Cannon, you're not going to see him in melee combat at all, so you might as well go for an Auto Cannon, so it's more effective against all kinds of infantry. I don't think the suppression is necessarily needed here. I think the Auto Cannon would be a just better choice overall for the AoE damage, especially when you got the Chains of Torment as well, so you don't need the suppression as much. When you can just lock down all the units with the Chains of Torment, just putting that in front of the Havoc, so the Auto Cannon might be a better choice here, and it's a fairly cheap upgrade as well, the Marker Khorne upgrade for the Havoc squad. Might see Desert Nomad go for that later, but given that he's on 375 red, is tier 3, could potentially be Terminators, although I don't think Terminators would be the best choice as such. That could also be a Predator at the same time. Predator would probably be the safer choice, especially with double Heretics. Should be able to protect it fairly easily. These Heretics, demonic summoning on the ground here. 200 red spent, so definitely no Terminators then. But the Warriors though do need to be careful. Going to be losing a model here. Going to lose 2 models here. Lose a whole squad of Warriors. These Bloodletters on retreat with their power melee. Going to be doing so much work here. Tyrant Guard is also getting caught out as well. 120 VPs though to 394. Desert Nomad needs to put more of a focus onto the VPs right now. He's put a lot of focus onto everything else other than the VPs for now. He's winning all the engagements, winning all the fights. He's bashed power a lot as well. Destoffel is even calling GG here, but the problem is that the VPs are already ticking down now for DesertNomad. It's on 120, Destoffel on 380. A second Tyrant guard is coming out. Destoffel's army is quite minuscule in comparison to DesertNomad. Both players calling GG here. Hive Tyrant nearly going to go down here, but the Chaos Sorcerer without any weapon upgrade whatsoever is not going to do too much damage to Hive Tyrant. I think even with a weapon upgrade it wouldn't have been enough. One hit. Sorcerer's weapon upgrades aren't the strongest in melee, it's more for the abilities that you get from them. The Tyrant Guard though, going to be pushing in these Inferno Bolters onto the Chaos Space Marines here, going to be very effective against the super heavy infantry of this Tyrant Guard. There are more effective choices though, but the Mark of Tzeentch Bolters doing full damage though to the super heavy infantry of that Tyrant Guard. Chaos Dreadnought though does need to be a little bit careful here, going to enter Blood Rage mode. Chaos Sorcerer needs to leave the area if it wants to warp that Dreadnought out to safety. You can see Chaos Dreadnought, or Chaos Sorcerer, sorry, going to be backed away from the area. Hive Tyrant going to try and do what he can. Some Homagons going to be coming out of base here. This is a very odd purchase this late in the game, but it's not as if Destoffel can actually afford much else. There's some Heretics tying up these Termagants here. These Heretics will need to back away, and the Dreadnought going in a little bit deep, going to get warped out though to the Chaos Sorcerer, down to just 36 HP, was leaving that to the last minute there. And everything goes to be retreated away though for DesertNomad's currently a triple cap here for him, so he's going to catch up in the VPs there against Destoffel, 120 to 284 here. Destoffel with a very small army. A Chaos Predator has come out of base, upgrading to the Mark of Tzeentch upgrade. Surprised that he's going for the Mark of Tzeentch upgrade. I think the Mark of Khorne here would be a bit better, given that the Tyrant Guard isn't a vehicle, it's super heavy infantry until it enters its shield wall formation. And given that the rest of Destoffel's army is infantry based, I think that the Mark of Khorne would have been better, especially for the increase of damage in the side bolters as well. It's an extra 75% damage on the side mounted bolters and an extra 25% on the main battle cannon. But these Heretics though getting caught out here do need to retreat away. Actually Doom Blasting here, but there's nothing to get suppressed. No point in Doom Blasting in a situation like that. These Havocs though getting caught out by some Homagons, the Adrenal Gland, level 3 Homagons as well, going to be doing a bit too much damage. And Tyrant Guard going to enter that shield wall formation to actually heal up. Destoffel going to be forced to remain at tier 2 for the remainder of the game by the looks of it. Even though he does have 2 generators over here, he just doesn't have the economy right now to actually sustain taking up to tier 3. Also requisition point uncapped here. Imagine that these Heretic or Homagons, sorry, going to go pop over there to that requisition point and go capture it. Homagons though gain the cap here in the contested VP. DesertNomad will need to split his forces up and try and hold as many VPs as he can and try and win the game through that, because he does have the superior army. In fact, he can actually split his army in half and probably still win some of the engagements here. But the Chaos Sorcerer can always warp in units on a position as well to bring it in and change the way the engagement will go. 119 VPs to 189 to Destoffel with the VP advantage here against DesertNomad with a 1-0 cap against him right now as well. DesertNomad really needs to focus on the VPs, and this is why I dislike this map, because the VPs is what gets you in this game. Even if you do power bash, it can be difficult to try and come back from a VP deficit against a race with quite a lot of mobility. Although the Sorcerer has plenty of mobility himself, so he should be able to compete against Destoffel. Rending Claws going to get purchased onto the Genestealer Brood here, giving them heavy melee, going to be very effective against vehicles. We need to be careful though against that Mark of Khorne Dreadnought, though that's still going to be incredibly strong. It's incredibly difficult to actually deal with, even with the Tyrant Guard heavy melee, even with the Venom Cannon. That Dreadnought has also leveled up to level 2 as well, giving it an extra 100 HP, and the Blood Rage as well, giving it some damage resistance, making it very difficult to actually kill overall. But the Predator could potentially be a target here for these Genestealers if they actually are able to tie it up. But with the Chaos Sorcerer having the Robes of Torment, it's going to be very difficult for the Genestealers to actually get into melee combat. They'll need to wait for some units to come to them instead. Mark of Tzeentch CSM going in a little bit close here to the Tyrant Guard. The Tyrant Guard is trying to chase away that Venom Cannon on the Hive Tyrant, is absolutely destroying that Predator. Going to get worshipped though, so he's not longer able to be seen. These Termagants are going to try and cap while the fighting is going on, but the Homagons and Genestealers getting caught out there. The Mark of Tzeentch CSM able to get away without a single model loss here. Tyrant Guard is trying to run away, trying to be careful of that Mark of Khorne Dreadnought. Genestealers now going to be caught out, and a demonic summoning onto the circle here, going to allow Heretics to reinforce in the field. Although the Heretics are going to take too much damage, I don't think they're going to be able to out-reinforce the amount of damage that they're taking. With the Genestealers now forced away, they should be able to out heal now the Homogons that are left on the field. The Blood Rage Dreadnought is going to carry on chasing Homogons, trying to melee down the Predator, but the melee damage not very effective against the Predator. You need heavy melee to deal with vehicles ideally. Tyrant Guard going to carry on running away. Dreadnought is going to continue to chase. Homogon is going to run away here, but it's currently a 2-1 cap against DesertNomad, so he does need to make a focus onto the VPs here. But Destoffel is trying to just buy as much time as possible. Destoffel with quite a lot of resources saved up. Same for DesertNomad. GG's were called earlier, but both players are going to remain playing in this game. This Marker Corn Dreadnought will need to be careful. We need to get warped out, and that means DesertNomad will no longer be getting Terminators this game. Having to spend so much red having to warp out this Chaos Dreadnought on a regular basis. In fact, he really does need to warp that out fairly soon. Does warp it out here. Dreadnought might even attack the Chaos Sorcerer if he's not careful. Heretic's going to go in for the capture here, but Rippers is trying to do what they can. Rippers not with the highest damaging unit in the game, not really going to do too much to these Chaos Heretics. Rippers very effective against vehicles in the sense that they do slow by 3% per byte. And Heretics will get forced off here, and it's going to make it even harder for DesertNomad to actually close out this game. 75 VPs left for him. Destoffel's going to get a capture on that VP, going to slow down the VP bleed against him. In fact, DesertNomad on nearly 100 population, a Land Raider Phobos is going to be the next purchase for him. Land Raider Phobos will be extremely effective here at holding a single VP if he is able to actually get one out in time. It's got an extremely long build time that I believe is a minute to actually build. That'll be very effective. Some Rippers going to get spawned on that right hand side, going to allow the Rippers to go up to the Havocs and actually interrupt them. Rippers cannot be suppressed. In fact, Rippers are extremely tiny infantry, making range damage against them really annoying because they actually miss the majority of their shots, reducing the DPS from range by quite a bit. Ideally want to melee down those Rippers instead. Genestealer is going to get forced off, currently a 1-1 cap, and as long as Destoffel can keep a 1-1 cap at the minimum, he can actually make a comeback in this game. 75 VPs to 135. Ripper's going to force off those Havocs, and there's Adrenal Gland Warrior is going to go in for the capture here as well, and currently DesertNomad is currently just on this 1 VP in particular here, currently a 1-0 cap against DesertNomad, going to be a 2-0 cap fairly soon. He's very low on VPs right now, 66 VPs here. Ripper's going to be engaging here, some more Rippers coming in as well. They will slow down that Predator. That Predator will need to be careful, may even need to get warped out if he gets slowed down a bit too much. The Venom Cannon Hive Tyrant going to be pushing in, could push in a little bit further, could try and go for that Predator, could go for that Dreadnought as well, just try and get it out of the fight. Genestealers though going to be engaging here. The Chains of Torment have already gone down and have already ended now. The Genestealers are free to do what they want. Tyrant Guard going to be engaging those Heretics here, even a Ripper still alive here amongst the mix of these Genestealers, but they will not last long. And Blood Rage going to be entered in by this Dreadnought. A Heretic squad is going to go down. I ideally want to keep those Heretics alive, given that you've got now 3 vehicles on the map. The Heretic support is invaluable right now. The Helmagon's going to go in for a capture here. 32 VPs, 30 VPs now for DesertNomad. He really needs to make a push here. Noise Marines on that right hand side, going to be unable to actually fight those warriors. The Dreadnought here should be able to fight that Tyrant Guard, although it will go down. But the Tyrant Guard is also, Hive Tyrant, sorry, is also helping out. Tyrant Guard is going to be able to hold, and going to be able to hold the VP now, and DesertNomad neglecting the VPs for too long, going to cost him the game here. Destoffel able to win with such a high VP count. If DesertNomad started to focus on the VPs a little bit earlier rather than focusing too much on the power bashing, then he would have been in a better position. And I think that the Land Raider Phobos was just, it took too long to build, and it wasn't able to actually do too much there in the end of the game. In fact, it didn't actually do anything in the end of the game, it just took too long to build. There should have been maybe some other units which would have been better suited, units with higher mobility that could have just gone straight to the VP and captured them up, and something like a Terminator cooldown would have maybe been nice with the Lightning Claw upgrade, since they would have been able to fight anything that the Destoffel actually had. That is going to be game. 135 VPs to nothing, and be sure to check out the description as well if you want information about the monthly Rumble tournament that's coming up on the 1st of May as well.